The cries of your firstborn child should bring joy. However, the delightful sound is only followed by blood-curdling screams. One of my thick arms cradles the newborn babe, and my free hand dabs away the sweat from my mistress's glistening forehead. I shoot my companion a death glare for reacting in such a way, and she scurries away from me, back to the ocean of blood between our mistress's thighs. Within hours, a nightmare has unfolded. Shh, it'll be all right, mistress. I have you. I have you both. Everything will be all right, I whisper, bouncing the gurgling child in the crook of my bare arm. Despite my soothing, my mistress's face is distraught with terror. Mira, you must get her out of here before he sees her, she pleads with quiet desperation, tawny face carved with tears and fiery locks sticking to her slender cheeks and neck. The sweat-soaked blouse slips off her shoulder, revealing her breast, but I slip the fabric back up with care. I glance to the iron door keeping us safe from the rest of the court, then back down to her. But, mistress, I'm only a slave. I can't possibly, I whisper, but am interrupted by another cry. The next contraction swells and twists my lady's face from fear to agony. The twin. Camille has never attended a birth before, but she coaches our lady's breathing the way I explained in the short time we had. Thalassa wasn't due to have the bairns for 3 more weeks, and my own mentor is gone. My heart sinks with grief, but I shake myself from the memory. I am distracted by the pair of round black eyes waiting in my arm, no white visible at all. The babe is so perfect in every way, but one. 2, actually. Please, Mira, you're her only hope. Please! Thalassa pleads once more with me after the contraction passes, pulling me from the babe's etherless beauty. I clutch the swaddled babe closer to me with both arms and nod with fervorance, but it's too late. Visha, High Lord of the Iron Court, bursts into the room. Concern rides his terrible and handsome features as he strides through the room, his silk crimson cloak waving behind him. He kneels at the queen's side, grasping both her ashen hands in his. I step back casually from them and situate myself on the other side of the bed, close to my companion. Camille glances up to me from between Thalassa's legs. She is covered up to her elbows in sticky, dark crimson. My stomach drops, but we cannot speak without being spoken to now. Tally, I came as quick as I could. What happened? He whispers, cradling her face in a shaking hand. Thalassa's face is pallid, color gone from her full cracked lips. This pregnancy has been troublesome since the beginning. We had expected that of a twin gestation. What she has given life to is unheard of, though, and unique beings are not welcome in Iverbourne. My heart thunders, and I find comfort in the fact the babe is drifting to sleep. Vish, listen. She attempts to persuade her husband, but when his attention focuses on me holding his child, the cruel mask he usually wears is visible. Another contraction takes hold, and Thalassa struggles through it. Her focus isn't on her breathing and body, but on the vicious High Lord sizing me up. I know she only requested me as her midwife to save me from his clutches, and if she dies, there will be nothing to keep his hands off me again. Of course, my mistress, who has become more of a friend, will never admit aloud that she knows what kind of monster her husband is. Bring me my child, he orders whilst rising from the floor. His solid hourglass figure demands every ounce of air in their bedroom. The order pulses through my ears and I avert my eyes. My feet inch closer to the male who has haunted my long years. Camille staunches the blood between Thalassa's legs and quietly reminds her she has another baby, that she's almost there. Mistress screams, but no one is there for her but dear terrified Camille. The world stops spinning, the sunset-accented master bedroom shines too bright, and copper fills my nose. Adrenaline thrums through every part of my body as I step around the bed and shakily offer the drowsy babe wrapped in blankets. Relief leaves his silken chest upon seeing her perfect face. A tawny finger caresses her full cheek. He tickles the purple tuft atop her crown, his light brow arching at the unusual color. Visha and Talasa both hold the complexion of true fire fae, wild amber locks and olive skin. The other babe cries out in Camille's hands, even stronger than the first and mixing in with her mother's sobs. The sound thrusts open the purple-haired daughter's eyes, revealing the lack of ether in her tiny soul. The once smitten father is now drawn tight into horror and disgust. Flaming orange eyes flash to his wife, now barely conscious. I clench my fists, body shaking with nausea and fear. Bare feet are planted while I watch the predator unleash itself, focusing its fury on my beloved, kind mistress. How awful a life to be shackled to such a male. Somehow she has avoided the cruelty he doles out to servants like us. Until today. Camille shouts and pulls me from my trance. "Mira, towels!" I jolt into action, fetching her more linens from the cupboard across the room. Talasa can't die. We have to save her. Her children need her, and so do I. I spring to Camille's side. My companion's gaunt cheeks are filled with color, and her worried hazel eyes catch mine. "Fetch a healer from the dungeons, with haste," she whispers. I run for the door without a second glance, but Visha's primal voice cuts through the thick blood-filled air. "That won't be necessary." His tone tears my eyes back to the horrible scene. The High Lord of Iron is standing over Talasa, eyes locked onto hers, while his ivory-handled knife poises to meet the baby's heart. His wife reaches out with a failing hand, and my lungs compress. I know he's a monster, but this? She's just a baby. "You have brought a curse upon us all. I will take care of this," Visha snarls to his wife, and the blade pauses in its gradual arc when the child in his arms lets out a giggle. "Wait!" I shout. Stupid courage reverberates through silence. The High Lord focuses his fury on me, his knife held in the air above his daughter. I knit together my thick brown fingers and do my best not to waver under his furious gaze. "Shouldn't we contact the Eternal? This is worse than a curse, it's a crime. You are the High Lord, of course. You have the final say as to who is interred, though it is only a suggestion." I tremble in place, and his brows narrow, so I take it a step further. "Surely the ancients wouldn't bless you with such a fortune, only for you to kill it." Visha travels through the air before I can blink. He appears in a flurry of flames, knife to my throat, and the babe still in his arm. A squeak escapes me, and I can't do anything but stare into two horrifying fires. "If word gets out, our name will be tarnished even more than it already is," he taunts. No one can speak of Iron's crimes and get away with it, unless you are the High Lord himself. That fact doesn't stop the civilians from begrudging their wealthy High Court while they live in scraps, almost more terrible than I've heard the outlandish Echo Valley to be. Obsidivale's scattered riots have only ended in the last year, over a millennia of unrest and distrust festering brought to an explosive head. For now. "You have another daughter. Let me make the deal. You will have an heir and a fortune," I whisper. A devilish smile of satisfaction spreads across his pointed features. Ether simmers so bright in his eyes, sparks land onto my cheeks. I wince, and he chuckles, the lust in his eyes one I know too well. I slam my eyes shut and think of Lex, the only male I trust here. The babe in his arms lets out a cry, causing me to pay attention to the flailing of her small fists. Talasa's quiet word rings through the room and causes Visha to drop his blade. "Please." Camille is offering the other baby to Mistress, but Visha holds up his hand whilst still facing me. The thin servant pauses, terror filling her crisp face. With reluctance, he passes the black-eyed baby into my shaking arms and whispers into my ear, "Not a word, slave." I hold the now quiet babe close to my heavy breast, a shudder escaping once he leaves me. My feet are still planted when he approaches his wife, and my heart stops when he kisses her forehead, raising his blade into the air. Camille scurries to my side, and I bite my lip, both of us entranced by the scene. "My dear, your incompetence has broken my heart." When the blade penetrates her chest, she doesn't give him the satisfaction of crying out. Thalassa only stares into his eyes and smiles, then closes her own when blood sputters from her upturned lips. I hurry out, and the midwife follows me into the nursery set up next door. 2 cribs nestled in a room entirely decorated with amber beads lining the walls and crimson curtains draping the windows. Bars on every one. Same as every window in this palace of hell.